Imagine it's Friday morning, May 12th, 2017. The world is winding down for the weekend. Office workers in London, hospital staff in Madrid, and telecom engineers in Moscow are sipping their morning coffee. The internet is humming along as usual, but silently, an invisible digital weapon has just been fired. At exactly 7:44 UTC, the first infection is detected in Asia. It starts small. A single computer freezes, then a red screen appears. Oops, your files have been encrypted. It demands $300 in Bitcoin. No big deal, right? Malware happens every day. But this was different. This wasn't a phishing email waiting for a click. This was a worm. Within minutes, it jumps from one computer to the next, spreading through the network cables like a biological virus. It doesn't need a human to make a mistake. It just needs an open door. And that door was a vulnerability called EternalBlue, a hole in Microsoft Windows that most of the world had left wide open. To understand the scale of this disaster, we have to look back a month earlier. A mysterious hacking group known as the Shadow Brokers had leaked a stolen cache of cyber weapons. These weren't amateur tools. These were alleged to be from the NSA's own arsenal. Among them was EternalBlue. It exploited a flaw in the server message block SMB protocol, the language computers use to share files and printers. Microsoft had actually released a patch for this in March, but in the real world, patching is slow. Big organizations, hospitals, and governments were still running older, unpatched systems. They were sitting ducks. WannaCry combined this military-grade exploit with a ransomware payload. It was the perfect storm, a weapon designed for spies, now in the hands of criminals, turned against the public. The worm scanned for port 445, found the vulnerability, and injected itself. Rinse and repeat, exponential growth. By midday in Europe, the situation went from IT problem to humanitarian crisis. The United Kingdom's National Health Service, NHS, was hit hardest. Computers controlling MRI scanners, blood storage fridges, and patient records suddenly locked up. Doctors were forced to use pen and paper. Ambulances carrying critical patients were diverted to other cities because emergency rooms couldn't accept them. This wasn't just about data anymore. Lives were at risk. The red screen of WannaCry was glowing in radiology departments and operating theaters across Britain. But it wasn't just the UK. FedEx in the US, Renault factories in France, German railways, Russian banks, Chinese universities, over 200,000 computers in 150 countries were falling like dominoes. The world was watching a cyber apocalypse unfold in real time. While the world panicked, a 22-year-old security researcher in England named Marcus Hutchins was sitting in his bedroom, analyzing the malware code. He was known online as Malware Tech. He wasn't working for the government. He was just curious. Marcus looked at the raw code of the virus and noticed something strange. Before the virus encrypted a computer, it tried to connect to a very specific gibberish website URL, a long string of random letters. If it connected, the virus did nothing. If it couldn't connect, it launched the attack. Marcus checked the URL. It was unregistered. Nobody owned it. So, on a whim, he bought the domain name for $10.69. He thought he was just setting up a sinkhole to track where the virus was spreading. He didn't realize he had just found the kill switch. The moment he registered that domain, the global attack stopped dead in its tracks. The malware on thousands of infected machines reached out to the URL, found it was live, and shut itself down. The spreading ceased. The encryption stopped. A $10 investment had saved billions of dollars and potentially lives. It was a lucky break. The attackers had likely included this feature to evade automated analysis boxes, or sandboxes, which often simulate the internet. They never expected someone to actually register the domain in the real world. Marcus became an overnight hero, though he initially tried to stay anonymous. However, the danger wasn't over for everyone. The kill switch didn't fix the computers that were already encrypted. Those victims still had to decide, pay the ransom or lose their data. And new variants of the virus without the kill switch could appear at any moment. The dust settled, but the lessons of WannaCry remain critical today. First, patch your systems. The fix for EternalBlue was available months before the attack. A simple update could have prevented the entire catastrophe. Second, network segmentation. Critical systems like MRI scanners should not be on the same open network as the reception desk's email. And third, backups. If you have offline backups, ransomware has no power over you. WannaCry was a wake-up call. It showed us that in a hyper-connected world, a vulnerability in one place is a vulnerability everywhere. We got lucky with a kill switch that time. Next time, we might not be so fortunate. Stay patched, stay secure.